News Day continues here on One News Now. I'm Charles Lejano. As lawmakers clash over the procedural aspect of tackling the proposed amendments to the Constitution, economic managers expressed full support over the lifting of restrictive economic provisions in the Charter. To tell us more about this, we have Ria Fernandez. She's reporting to us live from the Batasang Pambansa in Quezon City. Ria, good afternoon. Could you tell us what went down today at today's Charter change hearing?
Charles, the House Constitutional Amendments Committee is already on its second hearing on charter change, with Speaker Lord Velasco's resolution of both houses number 2 as the reference. But some lawmakers have yet to reconcile the route the panel has taken in tackling such controversial proposal. House Deputy Minority Leader Carlo Zarate asked Committee Chairperson Alfredo Garbin Jr. if it would be prudent if they coordinate first with the Senate regarding the rules to be adopted in Chacha proceedings. He especially raised this concern as the upper chamber is also set to start discussions on Chacha tomorrow. If unresolved, Zarate said both Congress may end up having different resolution. But Garbin, along with Vice Chairperson Lawrence Defensor, said the matter has already been resolved and that their panel is already amending the Constitution via legislation. Garbin's current position ran in contrary to his pronouncement in the previous hearing that they are already a constituent assembly. However, for his part, Deputy Speaker Dante Marcoleta refuted Garbin's take, arguing that the panel is only exercising its constituent power as mentioned in several jurisprudence. Marcoleta tried to press his issue, but Garbin said this is not the time to settle it. Despite the clash of opinions among lawmakers, economic managers of the Duterte administration support the idea of lifting economic provisions to boost the country's economy and improve public services. Finance Secretary Sonny Dominguez says he backs opening the economy as wide as it can be, except for land ownership. He says there are several ways to do this, which include Chacha or passage of their economic bills, such as the CREATE Bill and amendments to Public Services Act, which are all with the Senate right now. But Albay Representative Joey Salceda, presenting a projection, says doing both will reap more economic advantages to the country. Charles, the House panel hearing on Chacha is still ongoing with several lawmakers slated to interpellate. But earlier today, various groups related with the Makabayan Bloc trooped at the Batasan Gate to protest the ongoing Chacha hearings. Charles?
Thank you, Ria Fernandez, reporting live from the Batasan in Quezon City. The UP community is questioning CHED for its proposal to define the limits of academic freedom. Representatives of the academe say the commission should stand by students in their fight against the termination of the UP D&D Accord. To tell us more about this, we have Camille Samonte reporting live from the UP campus in Diliman in Quezon City. Ria, good afternoon. What's the latest update?
Charles, the UP community reiterated their call to defend academic freedom a week after the abrogation of the UP D&D Accord. UP student Regent Renico says given the recent string of false accusations and red tagging, all schools should have clear protection from military presence and intervention in campuses. Co also denounced the accusations of NTF-ELCAC spokesperson Lieutenant General Antonio Parlade that other universities are also being used as recruitment grounds for communist groups. Dr. Melania Flores, president of the UP Employees Union, has also expressed concern that some faculty members in UP Cebu have received death threats because of red tagging. Flores also slammed the proposal of CHED Chairman Prospero de Vera to define academic freedom. Flores says the CHED should prioritize the protection of its students' academic freedom. With the recent political events concerning the university, an art installation titled Barricada was constructed at the Oblation Plaza to commemorate the 50th anniversary of the 1971 Diliman Commune. Filipino artist Toym Imao designed the art installation. Imao says it is a recreation of the barricade during the university's years of uprising in the 70s. Charles, the UP administration said it is ready to have a dialogue with Defense Secretary Delfin Lorenzana to settle the issues on students' academic freedom. The university is just waiting for an agreement on the date and place where the dialogue will be held. Charles?
Thank you, Camille Samonte, reporting live from the State U in Quezon City. We'll be back with more stories after a quick break. Keep it here on One News. watching Bloomberg TV Philippines on One News Now. I'm Charles Lejano. More than 68 million doses of COVID-19 vaccines have been administered worldwide. But the global vaccination drive has yet to make a real impact, as measured by Bloomberg's COVID resilience ranking. Emma O'Brien tells us more on Bloomberg Daybreak Asia.
A couple of places, as you note, have really thrown their lot in with vaccinations and are going hell for leather and trying to roll out with varying results. That includes the US, the UK, where the outbreaks are particularly bad. Israel and the United Arab Emirates already have more than 20% of their populations inoculated. But what we found is that isn't yet enough to have much of an impact on their position in the resilience ranking, which brings 11 data points together, so not just vaccination, to gauge that really sort of essential thing of the best place to be, to live and work right now in the COVID era. And that means that our top 10 hasn't changed a huge amount, despite the fact some of those places haven't even rolled out vaccinations yet. That includes number one, New Zealand, which isn't starting to inoculate for a couple of months. Singapore already started, but nothing near the sort of scale that we've seen in Israel or the US. Number two, and Australia at number three also hasn't started to vaccinate.
How do you see the ranking shifting going forward, and what do you expect to have the biggest influence on turning things around?
Well, we've added this new data point this month, which does really track the number of doses being given, so that vaccination impact. I do expect that to start to have an impact, but where we'll really be looking to see it is in deaths. Because if vaccination and inoculation is working, if you are starting to see herd immunity in a place, then you will start to see that in declining deaths. Cases might continue to grow because vaccines, interestingly, don't necessarily stop spread of the actual virus, but they do stop people from getting really sick, so easing up that burden on hospitals. So you will start to see, hopefully in the places that are really putting their lot in with the vaccination, an improvement in those deaths, mortality rates, hospitalizations, which should then lead to an easing up of the restrictions that are weighing them down in the ranking right now.
LRT-1 has unveiled its Generation 4 train sets, which will be used for the Cavite Extension Project. Gerard de la Peña joins us live from Parañaque to give us the latest on this. Gerard, good afternoon. How exactly are these new train sets better than the old ones?
Charles, exactly 4 train cars or 2 train sets arrived all the way from Spain, and this is just part of the 120 train cars that we ordered from Spain. And the rest of the shipment will come in batches until the middle of 2022. The trains have dedicated spaces for PWDs and are also said to be more energy efficient. These are so-called Generation 4 trains, with the first generation of original trains coming from Belgium, the second from Korea, and the third from Japan. This will bring the total number of light rail vehicles or LRVs from 72 to 192. The procurement of trains is financed by the Japan International Cooperation Agency. Charles, authorities said that the public may start using the new trains by around July this year. And the DOTR is also pushing for the partial operability of the new train line with the 2 additional stations before the end of this year. Charles.
Thank you, Gerard. That was Gerard de la Peña reporting from Parañaque. And those are the top stories of the hour. Join Sean Yao later at 2 p.m. as we continue to monitor the day's biggest stories. You can also catch One News on the Signal Play app. Just register for a free account at www.signalplay.com and stream One News live anytime, anywhere. I'm Charles Lejano. We are One News.